Hey Key Hive, welcome back to my channel. So today is day 4 of my graduate school series. I hope you enjoyed all the information I've given thus far, and I'm super excited to have you back for the continuation of this series. We only have 2 days left.
May I use your Twitter account to post a tweet?
Oh, Siri. We only have 2 more days left before this series is over, so I'm sad that it's ending, but I hope you've taken this information to heart and really use it to help you on your graduate school journey. So if you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button to become a part of the Key Hive, because I don't want you to miss all the great videos I have for you, and of course all the great videos I will have for you in the future. So without further ado, let's get into it. So as y'all can see today, I changed up my chair because the other chair was hurting my legs. So I needed something more comfortable. So switched it up for y'all. So it'll be a little more personable, you know. So if you haven't checked out the videos from earlier this week, go ahead and check those out. We've covered the differences between undergrad and graduate school, or before you go and get your master's. And yesterday we talked about, I think it was 5 things to expect from a marriage and family therapy program. So today we're going to be talking about 7 things to help you have good study habits in graduate school. So if you're interested, keep on watching. Alright, so I'm going to try to make this video not as long as the other ones, because I know they've been pretty long. But you know, you can just turn the video on, let it play, wash your dishes, feed your kids, all that good stuff, and then just get information in your head. So tip number 1, study groups. So when I was in my program, especially during the first semester of graduate school, it was just overwhelming. So I had study groups. Now I recommend doing study groups no bigger than 6 people, because if you do larger study groups, you can tend to lose what the concept that you're trying to study is about. For example, when I was in the program, my first study group was with one of my second years, which was a person who was a year ahead of me. Since they had already gone through the same exact classes I was going through, they had the insights of the test, of the type of questions that were going to be asked, and what the teacher is looking for. So they would come in and help us study on like a Saturday, but the study group itself was about 15-20 people. So when it was that many people, and when I feel like I had the concept down, somebody else would come in and explain it a different way. So then I started second guessing myself and was like, well, am I giving enough information? Am I saying it the right way? Will I get the points on the test? Because I wanted to make sure I got all my information, and just having a lot of people really messed up my brain. So I decided that doing a smaller group was better for me, just because you don't get so many differing opinions of what a certain concept is about. The biggest tip I can give you is, once you understand the concept, write it down in your own words. Don't use what the teacher said and then write it down and use that on your test, because that's not what they're looking for. Most times they're looking for you to put it in your own words so they know that you know what you're talking about. You know what this concept is about. So definitely put it in your own words, study in small groups, and once you get the concept, write it down and lock it in. Alright, so tip number 2 I have for you is meet with the teacher. So this is probably the best thing that you can do, especially in graduate school. I know in undergrad, sometimes we were afraid to go up to the teacher, especially if we were like 1 point away and you had all these students in the class. You didn't want to feel like you didn't know what you were talking about, know what you were studying, so you didn't go and talk to the teacher. But in graduate school, that doesn't fly. You have to talk to your teachers, because they're there to help you succeed. They don't want to see you fail, and most times they're really, really approachable. Especially in my program at Valdosta State, if their door was open, I would just knock on the door, ask them a question about the concepts that we were learning in class, to make sure I was understanding them the right way, because I didn't want to fail the classes. I didn't have time to fail classes. So don't be afraid to talk to your teachers to understand what you're talking about in class, because there's no better person to talk to than the teacher, because they're the one that's giving the information, so they know what they're looking for on the exam. So talk to them, let them know what your confusion is, what you need help with, especially if you get a test back and it's not the grade that you thought it was. Talk to them, ask them what you can do, if there's anything that you can do better. Most times, if you don't do well on the first exam, the teacher tells you to give it some time to kind of get in your brain and understand what's going on, because usually you have more tests down the line that are equal the same amount of percentage in the class. So one bad test isn't going to kill you, but the best way to avoid getting a bad grade is just talk to the teacher, figure out what they're looking for on the exam. Tip number 3 would be reading and taking notes. So reading and taking notes is important in grad school, just because, especially in the first semester of my program, I read a lot because it was the foundational courses. So everything in the first year was all foundational stuff that I needed to understand in order to do my therapist thing. You know, how I would do it is I would sit at my desk, open my book, have my notebook here, highlighters, and I would skim through the chapter, but also like try to find the important things and read, because sometimes the books were filled with a lot of metaphors and all that stuff, and it was just a lot. So I would try to read and take notes of the chapter. Then I would step away from the notes for like 2-3 hours, and then I would come back and see if I could recite to myself what that chapter was about. This really helped me get it in my head because, one, I wrote it down and then I spoke it out loud. So writing it down gets it in your head. Speaking it out loud kind of awakens the information again, so you understand it, or you have knowledge of what you put in your brain. So I did that for my first semester. When I got to my second semester, life got crazy and I didn't do it as much, but I still passed the class. My second year, when I did therapy, I didn't read a thing, because I didn't really have to, because the classes weren't as tough anymore. They were more like filler classes because we were seeing clients, so we didn't have any really hard classes that year. So read the chapter, take notes, take a break, and then come back and recite it back to yourself to see if you understand what that chapter was about. Tip number 4 is focus on the major concepts. So when you're reading or when you're studying, you want to focus on the major concepts of the chapter. Don't try to read the entire book and then try to stuff the whole book in your brain, because it's not going to work. You're going to be tired and you're going to fall asleep. It's not going to work. So focus on the major concepts. Whatever program you're in, there's going to be major concepts you're going to learn that's going to help formulate how you think and how to use them in your career field. This will save you a lot of time, because you trying to read 500 pages of a book, not really gonna fly. All right, so number 5. So if your professor talks about a certain concept in class, you can guarantee it's going to be on the exam, especially if they say it more than once. So if you hear your professor talking about, say for instance, my professor will always talk about connection and separation. That was always a thing. We had a whole class on connection, separation, on whole part relations. Talk about that a lot. I knew it was going to be on the test, and then she actually said it was going to be on the test, so dead giveaway. When they talk about a certain concept a lot, write it down, star it, highlight it, whatever you got to do to make sure you know that you need to study for it, because it's going to be on the test. Tip number 6 is record your lectures. Now, I said this in my 10 tips to survive graduate school video. I'll link that up here if you haven't seen that already. But when I was in my program, I recorded all of my lectures, but it was only for one class that I did that, which was cohort members. Can you help me out? I forgot the name of that class. What's the name of that class? It was the class that had that completing distinctions book that I read in like day 1. I don't remember the name of it, but that was the hardest class of the entire program. I recorded lectures for that class, and it really helped me go back and listen to what I had missed, because like I told y'all in the other video, classes were 3 hours long and my brain was zoned out about hour 1. I needed the recording device to help pick up what I didn't listen to, because sometimes it's just a lot to really be intently focused on some very, very heavy information for that amount of time. And especially when you're discussing, my brain be throbbing and I'll have to go home afterwards and take a nap. Recording lectures really helped me catch whatever I missed. Ask your professor if it's okay that you record her lectures or their lectures, because it can help you a lot in the long run. Trust me, it can help you. And the 7th tip, which is going to be a surprise, is don't overstudy. Most people would study over the weekend when it came to like a big test, and they would study a lot actually. Like when I was in my 2nd year of the program, I had first years, people who were just coming into the program, and I would see them study for this one class all the time, like all the time. And I'm looking at them like, y'all need to cool it, because you're studying so much that you're going to end up turning your brains to mush. You don't want that. Like, it was crazy how much they were studying. It was either I knew what the concept was and I had a good grasp on it. I did my little notes, my speaking out loud, my putting it to my own words. Once I did that, I was good. And then we could take notes into the exam too. Most of my exams were open book, open note. I would study a little bit every day. That helps a lot. So study a little bit every day, so you're not trying to cram everything in at the last minute, because that's not going to fly in graduate school. I'm telling you now, it's not going to work. And once you get the concept, move on to the next one. Work on that, get it, move on. But don't keep reading over because you don't want to lose it. Like, just go take a break, watch a movie, chill out, hang out with some friends, but don't keep thinking about the test or the exam or all of that, because you're going to go drive yourself crazy. It's okay to have fun in graduate school. It's not all hard work all the time. It's filled with good experiences as well. So don't study so much that you're going to blow your brain out. Like, you need that. You haven't even graduated yet, so you don't want to lose. You don't want to lose your brain, right? That is the 7th tip, and that is all the tips that I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I tried to make it a little shorter. Hopefully, it is a little shorter. I have no clue how much time I have been talking. I can't see numbers on my what's this thing? I can't see numbers on my camera. So, anyways, we only have 2 more days left, so stick around for tomorrow's video. We have day 5. It's going to be a great video, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe if you know anybody who was thinking about going into this field or any type of social science field, counseling, social work, any of that. Send them to my channel. I would love to help them out, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.